everyone, I'm Dawn. Welcome to my channel. Thank you for visiting with me today. So today we're going to do a true crime story, and I want to start off by saying I am not a reporter. I am not a true crime expert in any sense of the term. I am just a person telling a story about something that happened to a childhood friend or to a couple childhood friends. And I might say, I might say, I'm not a professional. I'm just a lady telling a story about something that happened. And it's a story that kind of, affects me. So if you want like 2020 Dateline quality reporting, you should probably just click out right now, because that's not what this is going to be. With that being said, I'll jump right in. So I grew up in a horrible little place called Mayport, Florida. Little shrimpin' fishing village, and it was horrible. I hated that place. It was disgusting. It was gross. The people there were gross. It was horrible. And I'm glad to be out of there, and I'm really surprised any of us made it out alive. And I will have other stories about growing up in Mayport, in video form soon. So keep an eye out for those if you're interested. The town, when I read To Kill a Mockingbird, I kind of picture Mayport, although it's not really. I don't know why, but I just kind of do. And maybe that's because that's kind of a childhood story, and that was my childhood neighborhood. So and a lot of people think that Mayport was charming. Oh, it's so charming. It's so quaint. It's so cute. It's a crap hole. They don't understand. They don't know. And if they're from there and they say that, they're either very lucky, very forgetful, or very stupid. So the worst documented thing in my memory was when my very dear childhood friend, Irene, whom we called Tootie, and members of her family were murdered by her husband, William Wells, in 2003. Now, Wells gave a detailed confession to a local television station, and he said that he wanted the death penalty. And a lot of these notes I have are coming from that report, plus other things I've seen on the news and just things I remember about the story. So his court-appointed attorney entered a plea of not guilty, but Wells wanted to plead guilty so he can be put to death. And he also did not want to enter an insanity plea and stated he was fully aware of his actions. On the morning of May 14th, 2003, Irene, who we all called Tootie, as I said earlier, she was allegedly going to file for divorce, or she had already filed for divorce. I'm not sure which, but I know divorce was on the horizon. But she pulled her brother's gun out of her purse with no clip in it. And according to Wells, he asked, "What's that for?" And she, in what Wells calls a joking manner, said, "This is in case you get stupid today." And he said he laughed it off. He said he then grabbed the gun, and she said, "Now what are you going to do?" And he held the gun to the back of her head and said this, and pulled the trigger, and it went off. And he said she fell to the ground, and he tried to check for a pulse and turned her over, and her face was gone. Now, this is his story, but I don't know that I believe it. During the investigation, an acquaintance allegedly said that they saw Wells a few days prior looking for Tootie, and he had a gun. So I don't know. But, on one hand, why would he lie? But on another hand, why does it sound so sketchy? It doesn't sound like the exact truth. I mean, he was searching for her with a gun just a few days prior, and now he's saying this was an accident. I don't know. I just don't know that I believe his story. I don't know why he would lie at this point, but, Later that afternoon, Tootie's brother, John McMains, who was also a childhood friend of mine, we were all very close together in age, he went to the trailer where they had lived, where Tootie and William had lived, with Tootie's daughter from a prior marriage and her 4-year-old son that she had with Wells. And Wells claims he tried to explain what happened, but John became angry and was trying to go into the room where Tootie's body was, and Wells said he loaded the gun And that's another reason I don't believe his story. He said the gun didn't have a clip and it belonged to John. So where did the clip come from? If Tootie had it in her purse because she got it from John for some reason, why does he have a clip handy? You know, I need answers. But anyway, Wells wounded John by shooting him in the head. But John, you know, he didn't go down yet. He grabbed Wells' sleeve. So Wells fired 2 shots into John's head and killed him. So this isn't an easy story for me to tell, but I'm trying. So please just bear with me. So after that, Wells was expecting the police to show up, but they never did. He figured people would hear the gunfire and never show up. But that was the thing about Mayport. It was, you know, bad things happen in Mayport all the time and no one ever showed up. Now, this was many years later after I had grown up and moved away, but I guess it just never improved. So 2 days later, Bill McMains, who is Tootie and John's father, went to the home, letting himself in. When he saw Tootie, he got a knife in the kitchen. I'm assuming he just didn't know what to do. And Wells said they started talking, and then he said he shot Bill in the side of the head. He didn't say what event led to him shooting him in the head, but I'm sure Bill had something to say about him killing both of his children. And so he dragged his body into his 4-year-old son's room. I don't know where the 4-year-old was at the time. He was home. He was in the home, but I don't know what room he was in. And so he covered the father's body with blankets. And by the way, we're going to call the child Froggy. That was his nickname. His real name was never released. Which I agree with that. And he should be, he's an adult now. But so Froggy and his half-sister were home, and Wells sent the girl, who she was his stepdaughter, to stay with her biological father, but kept the 4-year-old there with him. And he said he then began doing cocaine and smoking marijuana. Upstanding guy. Upstanding citizen. Richie Reese was the next victim, and he was an ex-boyfriend of Tootie's. I guess they were dating before William and Tootie got married, but William called him over to the house to talk to him about an affair he thought he was having with Tootie, and he said he didn't intend to kill him either, but he did. And after arriving, Reese tried to leave through a sliding glass door, but Wells said he kicked it shut. I'm not sure how you kick a sliding glass door shut, but okay. Then Wells said Reese was getting something out of his bag, and he said when he was pulling his hand out, it looked like he was holding something black. So Wells took out the gun and shot and killed Reese also. So the next victim was a drug dealer, delightful, named James Young, and he came over to deliver $850 in crack cocaine, and he said Young tried to rob him of his marijuana, so Wells killed him. I don't know if I buy that either. Again, why would he lie after all this? But he's bringing you $850 in crack cocaine, and you shoot him over some weed. I don't know, but I don't know the drug dealer industry. I don't understand how that works. Maybe they're very volatile. I'm assuming they are. But sketchy, in my opinion. I mean, why would he lie at this point? But it doesn't add up to me. It just does not add up. But again, it doesn't matter. He committed the crimes. He's admitting to them. I just don't know that the story he's telling is 100% true. And so he sat in this trailer home for 10 days with 5 dead and decomposing bodies and a 4-year-old child. He had that little boy in that trailer with his dead mother, his dead uncle, his dead grandfather, and 2 other guys. You know, I don't know what was going on in this child's head, but just, and he said he would never hurt Froggy, but the police didn't know that. So when they showed up 10 days later with a 12-hour, for the 12-hour standoff, the police didn't know he wasn't going to hurt the child. you know. So he asked for pizza and drinks, and the police had that stuff sent to them. I think they used like a robot to deliver the items. I'm not sure, but yeah, so he was basically holding his 4-year-old son hostage. But so after the police were there for 12 hours, Wells finally released his son. I believe someone said that he just wanted to have one last meal with his son, and that's why he wanted the pizza. I don't know what they were eating for 10 days, but if anything at all. But after he released Froggy, Wells was arrested, and the police entered the home, finding the 5 bodies. 5 dead bodies in a trailer in Florida in May for 10 days. Even with an air conditioner on, that was not a pretty sight. So Wells received 5 consecutive life sentences for the 2003 massacre and received a 6th life sentence in a murder attempt on a fellow inmate in Miami-Dade, I believe. And in 2019, Wells killed an inmate, and he was recently sentenced to death, which is what he's wanted. But he can sit on death row for decades, because Florida has prisoners on death row that have been there since the 70s. Like, I think the oldest one was incarcerated in 1971, I believe. So, and I know a couple people have commented before that I say I believe too much in these videos where I tell true stories. But this is my story. This is how I'm telling it. Like I said, I'm not a reporter. I'm just sharing a story with my friends. So if you don't like the way I share it, you can excuse yourself. But that's how I share my stories. And I don't see myself changing anytime soon for anyone else's comfort level. So yeah, there you go. But anyway, that's the Mayport Massacre, and he is called the Monster of Mayport. And like I said, I don't believe that any of it was an accident, because I think that if shooting Tootie was an accident, he could have just stopped there, called the police, and handled it. But he just made it worse and worse and worse. And you know, I don't know how Froggy's doing nowadays. He is an adult now. Hopefully that evil Mayport cycle broke. I broke the Mayport cycle. I know a lot of people who have not, but I did. And hopefully Froggy did too. But that's it. Thank you so much for watching. I don't want to say I hope you enjoyed this story, because it's really bad, but I hope you learned something. And I will provide links to some articles down below that will give you more information about what happened. And I'll talk to everyone later. Thanks so much. Bye.